Over the course of the last month in Japan, I encountered a number of new things unique to Japan. From the new foods, the new language, and overall new environment, I had a lot of things to adjust to. Japan, of course, is very different from America. Some of the more notable things I came across while in Japan that differed from our home country was the cleanliness of the country and the kindness and respect that everyone was treated with while visiting. And while I vaguely knew of these things before I came to Japan, I was not expecting to the extent that these courtesies went. And while all of these made a huge impact on me, perhaps the most unexpected thing I came across in Japan was the incorporation and preservation of art and nature in this modern country. Japan is known for its metropolitan areas, from the most populated city in the world, Tokyo, to the still other very large and very well-known cities like Kyoto and Osaka. Japan is known from the outside as an urban country. And this is what I was expecting when I came to Japan. The crowded streets, the huge shopping districts, and the overwhelming amount of technology. And this is what I saw. I went to the many tourist spots like Tokyo Tower. I experienced the great views of the giant city that is Tokyo. And our group was lucky enough to stay in Akihabara while in Tokyo, the famous electric town. So we all saw the breathtaking views of the tall skyscrapers and the many billboards. We saw all the technology that this city is enveloped in and known for. And yet, despite all of this, there was still art and nature in every corner of the city that is Tokyo. And this theme extended into the other cities as well, such as Kyoto and Osaka. And while they were all developed in metropolitan areas, there was room made to keep some of the original nature in place, as well as room made to incorporate new art pieces into every aspect of these cities. An example of this would be in Kyoto. Where we stayed, we would have to walk past many traditional houses, past temples and shrines, and across a giant river to make it to the huge shopping mall. The preservation of the river and traditional aspects of the city was amazing to me. Anywhere else in the world, most places would have destroyed these things to make room for the new and modern wonders they wanted to display. Yet Kyoto was able to show its history while also showing the advances it has made. While in the cities themselves, you would see murals and displays everywhere. Then you could walk 15 minutes and be surrounded by nature. This atmosphere is completely unique to Japan, and I can't even think of a city in America that by comparison has anything similar. It is something so unique to Japan as they were able to keep tradition alive and not completely replace what was originally there before modernization. In particular, there was one day where this was apparent. This was on day 2 of our trip in Japan when we went to Shibuya, Harajuku, and Meiji Shrine. This day started off as expected. We were going to Shibuya, a bustling section of Tokyo known for the famous Shibuya Crossing, which is the busiest intersection in the world, as well as Shibuya 109, a massive department store. However, as soon as we left the train, we were greeted with the statue of Hachiko, the dog made famous for representing the loyalty and familial love in Japan. Hachiko is known worldwide due to the story of how he would wait for his owner every day at Shibuya Station, even after the owner passed, and the dog continued waiting until he eventually passed as well. Only a few feet further past this Hachiko statue was a giant mural dedicated to the dog as well. When I first saw this, I was very moved that they would not only dedicate a statue to Hachiko, but also a giant mural. It really showed the impact that this story made on them. And this was just the beginning of the unexpected art during the trip. Once we moved past Hachiko, I began noticing how art was incorporated in almost every aspect of Japanese life. From the buses having cute iconography, to the brightly colored signs and buildings scattered throughout the city. Art was completely surrounding the entire city, and this made the city seem not as intimidating. Rather than gray concrete buildings and roads making up the city, there seemed to be more life here. Soon we arrived at the famous Shibuya 109 building, where I was once again greeted with bright colors and art inside the building. Not only did each store have cute decorative areas, but there's also sections of the building with purposeful displays for people to take pictures. This again gave life to what could have been just a boring department store, but instead they made it very inviting and a photogenic location. After we were finished with Shibuya, we started making our way to Meiji Shrine. Since we were told it was just a short walk away, I wasn't expecting anything big, but I was absolutely shocked when I saw where and what Meiji Shrine was. Not even a 20-minute walk from where the busy Shibuya station was the nature-filled Meiji Shrine. Meiji consisted of 170 acres of forest in the most expensive and busy land of the world. I could not believe that such a place could exist, especially in the most populated city in the world. The entire atmosphere in this area was different than where I was just 20 minutes prior. Meiji Shrine was a calm and peaceful area in the heart of Tokyo dedicated to Emperor Meiji, and it really showed, again, the impact that Emperor Meiji made on Japan as they were able to set aside and dedicate such a large section of land to him. And I just couldn't believe that this perfectly preserved area of nature existed in Tokyo. Once we finished with Meiji Shrine, we started towards our last location of the day, Harajuku. Harajuku is yet again another iconic place that everyone knows about in Japan. Famous for its fashion and art scenes, this neighborhood is also very famous for being extremely busy and crowded. Yet it was again just a 10-minute walk away from the serene and quiet Meiji Shrine. Once in Harajuku, you're greeted with a flood of art as well as a flooded area of people. From the street signs to the decorative shops, everyone there is overwhelmed with the amount of art. And this is just one day, and it is such a prime example of the unexpected experience that happened. I never would have expected to have seen so much culture and artistic influence in a big city. And sure, the big cities in America have an immense amount of culture and art, but it's just a very different experience from what you see in Japan. The cities seem to be alive and almost homey due to the amount of art and nature. It no longer has the cold feeling associated with cities. It is a place that feels lived in and influenced by the people in it. And this feeling extends out of Tokyo, it extends to everywhere in Japan. It could be seen in our trip to Hakone, where we were on a pirate-themed boat ride in a lake. It could be seen in almost every temple and shrine we went to, whether it's through brightly colored torii in buildings, or the intricate Zen gardens, or just simply the art that was placed on the walls. There was art and nature in every aspect of Japan. And this was by far the most unexpected thing I came across while in Japan. I had no clue that I would experience a natural paradise or such artistic expression when I knew we'd be staying in the metropolitan areas of Japan. There is no other country in the world that could show this amount of art and nature incorporated into the huge cities and the huge tourist destinations that Japan has. And I do not think I could experience this again anywhere else in the world but in Japan.